first ACC road win under their second-year head coach, Megan Jayda. So we tip it off from Louisville. The Cardinals will start off with the basketball, wearing white on their home floor. Wake Forest coming in all in black, search of their first conference win of the season, and that's your bread and butter right there, going inside to Cochran for the first two. Starting five for the Demon Deacons, Elise Williams. She's the one you really need to watch, number 21, leading the Deeks in scoring and rebounding. Cole's also some size on the inside, along with Harrison and Scruggs. Conley rounding out the starting five.
Well, one of the things you'll see with this Louisville team is they are very versatile. They have a lot of players who can score. First you have Cochran, then you have Taylor there going to the basket. What I love about this team is there's no one on this team that's averaging over 25 minutes a game. And so when I talk about the defense, there's always going to be fresh legs, Jen, for them because they play so many people.
Sydney Taylor, one of several new faces for this Louisville team this season. Transfer from UMass, where she was an all-A-10 first-team selection last year. 1,000-point scorer in her career. And she averages just under 10 points per game. And I know, watching shoot around today, you were watching practice, you kind of feel like she's due.
I do think she's due for a breakout game. We'll see if it happens today. You see the full court pressure here by Louisville, and that's what Wake Forest needs to do. Elise Williams is a dynamic scorer, and she needs to have a high performance today for Wake to have some success.
Cochran driving again as you see the Cardinals starting five. This group has been successful, 10-1 so far with this lineup for Louisville this season. Scruggs picking up her first personal foul on the Cochran drive.
And we can see from the first three possessions, they want paint points. First you go into Cochran, and then you have Taylor drive, and then you have Cochran drive there for this third possession.
Cochran, one of those players who has just continued to grow, expand her game every year. This her fourth year for the senior. McDonald's All-American out of Columbus, Georgia, and averaging 11.8 points, leading the team with just over 6 rebounds this season.
Well, Cochran wants to get to the WNBA, and so she has worked on her fitness, worked on being more proficient in her range, out to mid-range, and you can see the results here this season so far.
Harrison just getting hounded by that Louisville defense. Melissa Andrews in off the bench to help with the ball handling for the Deeks. Conley puts up the three. She is their best three-point threat, and she's got their first triple of the game.
Yeah, I talked with Coach Jayda earlier today, and she mentioned that that's something that they need to do well today if they're going to be able to have some success against Louisville, is to hit some three-pointers.
Wake Forest did beat Louisville last year in Winston-Salem, first win in program history. Louisville 10-1 all time against the Demon Deacons. Cards got the best of Wake Forest in the ACC tournament rematch, though. Louisville winding up making it all the way to the ACC championship game where they lost to Virginia Tech. Cochran with the takeaway. Look at her running the floor. Gets a little bit of help from Ricards. And Cardinals up two.
Well, they are very proficient at getting points off turnovers, turning teams over. Last 3 games done really well, averaging 26 points off turnovers. So there you see an example of how they succeed on that end of the floor.
Eight on the shot clock now. Harrison, grad student in her 5th year with the Demon Deacons. And look at Cochran getting in there. She actually leads this Louisville team in steals. How about that?
Well, she's not afraid to get on the floor. And she's very mobile with or without the basketball. You see the steal here and able to handle the basketball, makes a good pass to Ricards there for the layup.
And Cochran really, as you see her again working on the defensive end, one of the only real faces that you knew how they'd look in a Louisville uniform coming into this season. Williams was forced to launch up a deep, deep three with the shot clock running down there.
This is a team, obviously, with a lot of new faces, and they've had to learn how to play together, but they have gelled very early in the season.
Kiki Jefferson kept it alive for Nyla Harris to finish it off.
Louisville making it really difficult for Wake Forest to get into their offense because they're scoring. They're able to set up their pressure.
Ricards guarding Harrison.
Took an awful long time there to get started with their action, Wake Forest.
Williams trying to work her way to the basket. Just well defended there by Taylor.
Yeah, they started that action with about 16 seconds on the clock, and not much you can do there but go one-on-one at the end of the clock.
Kiki Jefferson, leading scorer for the Cardinals this season, just over 12 points per game. Transfer from James Madison, one of the top shooters there all time. Getting it inside to Cochran. Looked to be a sure assist, but doesn't get the bucket.
They're trying to get into the paint as soon as they can and work from there.
What is the pace Wake Forest would like to play with on this end?
Well, they want to be more deliberate because they need to run their offense. They need to run their sets, but it's really difficult when you have a team like Louisville hounding you and also pressuring you and you don't have time. Again, on one opportunity, creating opportunities like that from their defense, you don't really have time to set up anything.
Kaya Harrison committing the foul, so that'll put Jefferson on the free throw line. I know Louisville not a team that shoots very many threes. In fact, they're last in the ACC in three-pointers made. They average just 4.5 a game, but boy, they love to get in the lane and drive, don't they?
Well, they put pressure on your defense in transition, as you've seen here in these first few minutes, and makes it really difficult for you to get back and figure out who you have in defensive transition.
All 5 starters have now scored for the Cardinals. Louisville on a 7-0 run.
They're making Kaya Harrison work awful hard to get the ball across in 10 seconds, and then you see here, they still haven't started. Not much movement on the perimeter for Wake Forest's offense.
Malia Coles gets it over to Andrews. Basketball hasn't even come inside the three-point line yet, but when that's the result, maybe it doesn't need to. Williams knocking it down.
I think we're getting a moving screen there.
Cochran getting called for that foul. First team foul against Louisville in the quarter. Katie Diebel into the game for Wake Forest. Redshirt freshman out of Australia.
You see the really good perimeter defense by Louisville. Very hard for them to even start their offense.
Welcome to those of you just joining us here in Louisville, Kentucky. The 15th ranked Cardinals hosting the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Louisville out to a 14-8 lead. Jen Hildreth, Helen Williams on the calls. The Demon Deacons are getting low on the shot clock. Elise Williams, their leading scorer, drives and does draw the foul.
Foul on the Cardinals, number 2, Nyla Harris.
Just Nyla Harris late coming over for help on defense.
On the floor.
So coming
Offensively, and they need her to perform at a high level, you know, to have an opportunity to win games this year.
had 16 points in the loss to Louisville in the ACC tournament last year, had 12 of Wake's first 15, so really got off to a hot start in that game. Demon Deacons looking for their first ACC road win under second-year head coach Megan Jebbia. Louisville doesn't often lose against an unranked ACC opponent, as you saw there, but that will help again. Alyssa Andrews getting some points off the bench for the Deeks. Looking for the answer on the other end. It rims out for Sydney Taylor. Kaya Harrison. Williams, almost the same spot she hit from a few moments ago.
Out of bounds, Cardinal ball.
Louisville doing a great job of just keeping Wake Forest outside that three-point line. And if they do penetrate, they're not letting them go north-south. They're keeping them east-west away from the basket. So Wake Forest trying a little bit of pressure here. Try to slow Louisville down a little bit. They want to slow the game down. They don't want to get into a back and forth, up and down game with Louisville.
Saw Lily Love into the game, the transfer from Georgia Tech for Louisville. Ricards spent 4 years at Florida, now to Taylor. She's got 3 points in the game, the transfer from UMass.
Again, putting pressure on the defense, driving downhill is working for Louisville.
Alyssa Andrews, junior out of Woodbridge, Virginia, had started most of the games at the beginning of the season for Wake Forest, been coming off the bench more as of late.
An awful lot of dribbling around with not a whole lot of purpose there by Kaya Harrison. Still got a decent shot out of it, though.
And it looked like Louisville had it, but Nyla Harris stepping out of bounds. That'll give it back to Wake Forest. I mean, good luck getting in the paint against this Louisville team. It has really been a struggle so far against Wake Forest. A couple of threes that they've knocked down have been important ones to keep them in this early.
They only have 2 paint points here in this first quarter versus Louisville. They have 10 paint points. They had those in the first 5 minutes.
Scruggs back in the game for Wake Forest. Undersized in the post, but willing to battle in there. Walks on this possession.
Undersized, but that kid works really hard, uses her power to her advantage.
And she's had to play more of a inside position than probably she would like. Demira Hines, they were hoping to have her back for conference play, but she's been out with a lower leg injury. Has yet to play this season. Jayda Curry, drive into the basket, pulls up, it's good.
Wake has got to do something about allowing Louisville to get into the paint off the bounce.
Scruggs. Harrison back on it, driving the lane, and is fouled. I think that's Marissa Russell coming up, holding her back after committing the foul. And Wake needs more of that, right? I mean, drive the lane, force some contact.
They need more of that, but it has to be in an organized fashion. It can't be because it's the last thing available to you, if you know what I mean.
Yes, absolutely.
Obviously, you want Kaya Harrison to do that. She's very good at getting into the paint, pulling up, and getting opportunities at the line, but you want it to be more organized.
Coach Jebbia, in her second season in charge of the Demon Deacons, had spent 8 years at American, where she's the winningest coach in program history, 2-time Patriot League Coach of the Year. You think the Deeks have confidence in Harrison making free throws? Everybody was back. 83% free throw shooter, Harrison, on the season.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time talking to Coach Jebbia yesterday, and I really like that she's realistic about, her team's ability. She has certain things that she wants to get accomplished every game and want to improve on to make them a better team, and hopefully by doing that, she'll be able to win some games.
Foul on the floor. What would you say are some of the top things in this game that Wake Forest needs to really focus on?
I think initiating their offense a little bit earlier. And that's Louisville's making it difficult with the pressure that they're putting on, but they don't have enough time to go through their progressions, which is something that they like to do. And more of that, more of Elise Williams trying to get to the basket.
Elise Williams has 5 points in the game. Curry committing the foul.
Yeah, just doing a good job. They're isolating her, moving people away from her side, and she needs to get to the line more as well. I don't think
Elise
the Louisville
Williams.
crowd liked the foul, though.
Well, yeah, and
they
this
probably
is a
think
great
they never
crowd.
foul. They do a tremendous job
Yeah.
here at Louisville with their outreach, and you know, they have great crowds.
This program really well supported, and Jeff Wallace talking to his team at shoot-around today, just telling them, don't take that for granted. Get out there, play hard every time, because it hasn't always been like this. Curry got bailed out a little bit there. Russell, boy, she came up really big, had a season-high 12 points in Louisville's win at Miami, including 11 straight in the fourth quarter. It was a close game down at Coral Gables. Scruggs calling for it on the inside. Now she gets it, but outside the three-point line. 6 to shoot for the Demon Deacons. Scruggs going to try to take it herself and walks.
Yeah, Russell doing a great job again, getting down the lane, downhill. Everything for Louisville has been downhill. I don't know that they've taken an outside shot, or a couple maybe, but everything's been driving to the basket.
Yeah, one three-point attempt
three-pointer, yeah.
for Louisville. You're spot on. Jeff Wallace knows the recipe for success that he wants for this team, and I think you also have to really give him a lot of credit for working the transfer game. I mean, it was going to be important with all of the turnover to graduation or to grad transfers like Haley Van Lith moving on, and Kristlyn Carr, Liz Dixon, Akasa Robinson. She's now on the bench as a grad assistant. And then he brings in 6 transfers and has gotten them all to figure things out pretty quickly, it seems like.
Well, I think, you know, we talked to him about his philosophy on that, as you see the outside shot there. He wants to get pieces. He doesn't want to just get, you know, arbitrarily get transfers. He has a specific need. He goes after a transfer for a specific reason, and that's really worked out for him this year. As transfers, they've all been very productive. They've all gelled early. We'll talk about later about why we think that is, but we talked off camera about them. You know, there's no one superstar for Louisville. They've got different people that do different things every night, and no one averages over 25 minutes a game. So he's already subbed, you know, a ton of people in here, and we're just now getting done with the first quarter.
Yeah.
But Wake Forest quietly, they're only 6 points down after everything we've talked about.
Yeah, it's
Still
true.
only 6 points down, so they've got to be happy with that.
Scruggs got positioning inside, was able to draw the foul. Elif Istanbuloglu, the freshman out of Istanbul, Turkey.
I'm going to give you props for that because you got it right. You had to say it first, so.
I definitely took a moment to collect myself. Wanted to get it right for Elif. That's what they call her here. That's certainly easier, but.
Alexandria Scruggs just does a really good job of just constant movement and working hard, using her power, and getting to the free throw line. She is one of the best post players, even though she's undersized, for Wake Forest.
Fifth-year player for the Demon Deacons, #1 all-time in appearances at Wake Forest. She'll go to the bench here with just 17 seconds remaining in the first quarter. And just a 4-point lead for the 15th-ranked Cardinals. Pass intercepted there. Riley Turkoff, a freshman out of Tenafly, New Jersey, getting a hand of the basketball. Russell, 6 seconds on the clock. Dribble got away from her. Wake Forest rushing down the floor. Diebel will pull up and bank it in.
Oh, just doing a great job there. Defense getting the steal, and Diebel.
ACC Women's College Basketball presented by Food Lion. A 1-point game as we head into quarter #2 here in Louisville. Wake Forest Demon Deacons banking home a 3-pointer to end the first quarter and bring it within 1. And an interesting lineup out there, Helen.
Coming out, no starters for the last minute of that first quarter, and starting this second quarter with people off the bench. So getting good real-time experience for them. We'll see how they do.
And Wake Forest going on a 9-2 run to end the first quarter. And this was that last play, Helen, before first quarter ended.
Yeah, just good defense there, and Diebel enough presence of mind to know she's got to let it go. And it's Sunday, but the bank's open.
Oh, you dropped that
I had to get it in there.
Katie Diebel, redshirt freshman, only played 6 games last year and then had to wind up redshirting the rest of the season due to injury.
So
Oliva free throw line.
Trying to get a little bit more ball handling in there with Diebel and Kaya Harrison. Taking the big guards out. Really a small lineup here for Wake Forest. We'll see if it helps them with their ball handling. Scrouts was expecting her to go back door.
Well, the second quarter typically has been where Louisville really steps up the defense. 7 games this year where their opponent has had single digits in the quarter. Let's see what happens here. Good drive to the basket, but not a finish, and my goodness. Hitting the deck hard was Alexia Mobley. Good to see her back up quickly, now having to play some defense against an energized Wake Forest team. Hung in there in the first quarter when Louisville had their run early. Harrison getting into the lane, takes a lot of contact. And now the best free throw shooter for the Demon Deacons is going to go back to the free throw line.
Yeah, Harrison does a really good job of probing and trying to get to the lane. And if you notice, Louisville's got bigger guards in here, so she has the ability with the dribble to get around them and get to the basket and get an opportunity to shoot a free throw. So having bigger guards sometimes can work against you if you have a really good ball handler in Louisville in this situation.
Well, coming up next, we cap the afternoon with Virginia, number 20 North Carolina. That game coming your way from Chapel Hill. We'll have women's hoops every Sunday right here on ACCN and the ESPN app. Oh, how about every bit of the roll? Good for Harrison. She has 4 points, all of those from the free throw line. And once again, it's a 1-point game. And the starters continue to sit for Jeff Walls.
He's bringing in Cochran now. I was just wondering how long it would take before he would get at least a couple of his starters in. But he's going to need these players out on the floor now, you know, later on in the season. So he's got to get them some good experience at a, you know, real-time point in the game where it matters.
And maybe sending a message to some of the starters, too, if he wasn't getting what he wanted. You saw the score update there with Virginia Tech, the only other team unbeaten in ACC play, along with Louisville at this point. And in some trouble, perhaps. Still plenty of time left down in Tallahassee, but a good one going on between the Hokies and the Seminoles. Russell. Cochran back on the floor now for Louisville. That's exactly where the Cardinals go. She passes it off though. Russell, 5 to shoot, steps back, good!
Well, they got a 3 out of that. I thought Cochran was a little bit unselfish there. She really had the hook shot over the middle of the lane, but nonetheless, still able to get a 3-point shot for Louisville.
Shot is up from Turkoff. And good hands. You can see Diebel stepping into the passing lane. Got a little deep under the basket. Got the takeaway, not the 2. Pace getting a little frenetic now for both teams as Louisville loses it out of bounds.
Well, there's an opportunity where Cochran had her person pinned under the basket, a little bit frustrated. Coach Walls talked about that earlier today, was giving time for that to develop in the post and giving them the basketball. I thought she did a great job there. Got a little frustrated because the guard didn't see her.
Some full court pressure, at least a little bit here from the Cardinals.
You see them trying to isolate Elise Williams here off screens. Great help defense there by Louisville.
Williams looking inside. Leah Coles. Good ball fake.
Very rare today for Wake Forest to get an uncontested shot.
Kiki Jefferson back out there, one of the starters for Louisville. She gets it now. Will drive it with her left. A lot of contact and no whistle, and then the putback is good. It's down to Lolu. Her points, first points of the game.
Well, Louisville's going to spread you out, change sides of the floor, and then try to penetrate to get opportunities in the paint. Help came over, and that allowed the offensive rebound.
6-point Louisville lead. Look at Cochran all the way out. Three-point land defending Scruggs. 7 on the shot clock, getting low again on the Demon Deacons. And that defense for the Cardinals takes it away. Cochran running the floor with the ball in her hands. Russell spots up for 3, you betcha! A couple of triples in the quarter for Marissa Russell, and the Cardinals starting to feel a little bit better. And the Walls effect just cannot be understated with what he has done to completely turn this program around.
Really enjoyed our conversation with him today, and you know, they had a shoot-around. This is the first shoot-around that I've ever seen where they actually had a real practice for an hour and a half. And, you know, he had some things he wanted to get done, and you can see the effect of it here in the game.
10 on the shot clock now for Wake Forest. No field goals yet this quarter for the Demon Deacons. Just a couple of free throws accounting for their only point. Shot clock was going down. Scruggs did her best, but it'll be a turnover against the Deeks. Kiki Jefferson nearly got her own rebound on the ACC newcomer watch list. Transfer out of James Madison. A little miscommunication defensively. Jefferson eventually did get over to the corner and then did a good job drawing the foul.
Again, Louisville very good at cutting off angles in their one-on-one defense.
Kiki Jefferson scored her 2,000th career point at
I had
Miami.
to double check, look at that again when I saw that 2,000 points. Unbelievable.
That tells you what a prolific scorer she was. She was Sun Belt Player of the Year last year at James Madison. Cardinals keep it. Louisville outscoring Wake Forest 10-2 this quarter. Remember, it was a 1-point game coming into the second quarter after Katie Diebel banked home the 3 as the first quarter buzzer sounded.
And the Wake doing a good job, 8 for 8 at the free throw line. Some of those points have come from just penetration by Kaya Harrison.
Russell feeling good, has already knocked down a couple of triples in this quarter. Williams, boy, she can get down the floor in a hurry, gets a little help. Harrison battling in there for the rebound.
And better for Wake Forest to try to get some points when they can in transition, where Louisville doesn't have to set up their half-court defense. Just got to make the shot.
Jump ball called, so it stays with Wake Forest. Scruggs leans into the shot and gets it to go.
She uses that scoop shot very effectively against bigger players.
Scruggs gambled a little bit trying to get around Cochran, and she makes the Deeks pay.
Yeah, they've got to go with that because that's a mismatch every time down the floor.
Cochran at 6'3", Scruggs at 5'10".
And she Scruggs here, just a nice little cut and using that scoop shot to score against a bigger player. And then Cochran, you got to go to her because there's going to be a mismatch with her, with Scruggs guarding her.
And now Scruggs has to go to the bench, just picked up her second personal foul. And Olivia Cochran says, all right, who else are you going to throw at me in here? Looks like Malaya Coles, who does have a little more height, less experience though. Redshirt sophomore at 6'3", the biggest Demon Deacon on the floor. Ball looked to be taken away, but Harrison is whistled for the foul instead, her second personal.
And you don't want Harrison to get in any foul trouble because you need her on the floor if you're Wake Forest.
No worries, here we go. Line up.
Actually have shots coming as Wake Forest is in the bonus.
At the line for the Cardinals, number 44.
So 2 free throws coming for Cochran. Thursday night, you know where to go at 10 Eastern after we have women's basketball doubleheader done with. The Nothing But Net crew is going to break down the night in the ACC. They'll have highlights, analysis of every women's game, get you set for the best matchups coming up in the week. That's coverage you can only find in one place right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. 8 points in the game for Cochran.
See Louisville again back here with a little bit of full court pressure. It's 12 seconds now to get into your initial action for Wake Forest, and then you see them sort of stand there.
This will go to Louisville as the largest lead of the game for the Cardinals. 12-2 run, 14-4 in this quarter. Harris pulls up. Good. She's got 6.
Yeah, she's an improvement. We asked Coach, is there anybody that's, kind of surprised you this year? And she was the one that he mentioned. Just that particular shot right there, doing really well at becoming more proficient at that short corner mid-range jump shot.
Looking to find her role, was on the team last year, started 15 games. Harrison has her first field goal of the game. She's got 6 points.
Yeah, she's really good at pulling up there about 10, 12 feet out off the dribble. Harrison again.
Got good positioning, tough to stop when she gets the ball that deep. 8 points now for the sophomore. What do we say about that second quarter defense by the Cardinals? It's been impressive all season long. And it's certainly made a difference in what was a very tight game in the first quarter.
You see Cochran guarding Williams there. That's how mobile she is.
Under 4, Williams sees it, shoots it, and Jefferson slaps down the rebound. Harris. A little bit of a loose dribble, but she kept it contained. Now the shot, short corner, followed up. Ricard's got her own rebound. Jefferson into the paint. And it's the possession that won't end if you're Wake Forest defensively.
Well, they have been scrambling, rotating, playing really hard. Got rewarded here with the basketball. But they've got to find a way to get purposeful shots and not shots that come because the clock's running down.
Coles back to the bench. Madison Jordan came back into the game for Wake Forest.
And again, another small lineup to try to get some ball handlers in there. Try to get to the basket off the bounce.
A little too much contact as Williams was coming around. Ricard's picking up the foul, her first.
But even with the foul, I mean, the constant pressure that Louisville puts on teams, it's got to wear you down through the course of the game.
You see Harrison just probing, looking for options. Finds Williams, good shot fake, gets in, but it is a charge.
Yeah, just trying to do a little bit too much there. Probably should have taken the jump shot. Catches the ball right there. Should have just stopped at mid-range and taken the jumper.
Elise Williams made such a dynamic duel with Jewel Spear last year. Obviously, Jewel Spear transferring a big role for Williams. Jefferson making it look easy down the floor.
She was, and still is a scorer. Nobody picks up the basketball. You've got to get in front of the player, put pressure on the defense there, getting the opportunity for the N1.
So Jefferson leading the Cardinals in scoring this season, and it is interesting that her 12.3 points per game are the fewest for a top scorer under the team under Jeff Walz. This is 17th season, and if you think back on some of these great Louisville teams, they've had that big-time scorer. Angel McCautry, Asia Durr, Dana Evans, Haley Van Lith last year averaged just under 20 points per game. Louisville's going to have to get it done in a different way this year.
Well, by the same token, it makes it difficult to scout them because you have to prepare, you know, for everybody and not just one player. They're so versatile on both ends of the floor.
The foul on the Cardinals, number 2, Nyla Harris, her second. Team third.
Second personal on Harris.
I just think it was 19-20 at the end of the first quarter. It is now 41-25.
Yeah, it has been all Louisville. Andrews. They're on the run again. They've gotten some points in transition. The look away from Taylor trying to get it inside. But Helen, what would you say has been the biggest difference in this quarter for Louisville?
I think they've ratcheted up their defense, and again, they're pushing them out past the three-point line, and they're putting pressure on them defensively when they're coming down in transition. And the other thing too is they went right away to Cochran when she came back into the game, and I think that made a big difference.
Boy, that was a tough pass for Harris to hang on to. She did well to do so. Cochran calling for it, driving.
Nice extra pass.
Taylor taking advantage.
Yeah, just doing a great job there, being unselfish, making the extra pass.
1 minute left in the half.
That is tipped out of bounds by Louisville, so it'll stay with the Demon Deacons.
Well, you see Cochran here being unselfish there, drawing 3 people in the extra pass, and Taylor able to hit the three-pointer. We talked about it's about time for her to have a breakout game, so we'll see if that continues here in the second half. Harris is so good at penetrating, but she's got to make better decisions when she does that. I believe that's her 3rd foul.
It is. Charge called, and it is foul number 3. Cards are doing a good job of getting in position.
Yeah, again, she had the opportunity to take the short jumper there at mid-range, just like Elise Williams did earlier.
Whatever Jeff Walz did not like in the first quarter seems to have gotten worked out, at least with the play on the floor for the Cardinals in quarter number 2. And then they'll have another chance at the free throw line. Istanbuloglu fouled.
Well, there's no better way to get a player's attention than to have them come sit next to you.
That's right.
And then don't even have a discussion with them. Just have them sit there and think about why they're there. Louisville doing a great job of just breaking this press without a whole bunch of dribbles, and the opportunity here for the extra shot.
And Jeff was telling us earlier today, really has high hopes for what Istanbuloglu can do. Both of her parents played professionally in Turkey. She had a sister also who played at Siena here in the United States collegiately. And they're looking at this foul just to make sure there wasn't anything extra in the contact.
Okay, so they're looking to see if there was a push in the back for an upgrade.
So Williams was called for the foul. It was called just a regular personal foul. Did you see more in that?
No, not really. in terms of an intentional push. I didn't see that. We'll see from another angle here. I think she was just swinging at the basketball, and the momentum took her into.
Well, this gives Elif a chance to gather herself a little bit. Hit the deck hard after that foul. It's got her teammate helping to wipe her off.
It's an extra time out here to call a couple plays too if you're both coaches. Yeah, I think that's the right call. I didn't see any malicious intent there.
That was Ed Sidlaski on the mic. Appreciate hearing from our officials. Yeah, basketball play, right? I mean, nothing extra. I think fair enough to understand why you look at it.
Sure.
We would both agree with the conclusion the referees came to.
Trying to get the ball in the hands of Elise Williams and let her make some moves there. A little back screen for her. They missed her.
Open look inside for Williams.
Good patience there, not panicking.
9 points in the game for Elise Williams. Final couple of seconds of our first half. Looking for the three. Pass was low. Shot a little too strong from Sydney Taylor, but a big second quarter effort by the Louisville Cardinals sees number 15 Louisville leading Wake Forest 46-27 at the half. To catch you up on all that's going on around the ACC, let's get you to Justin and Coach McGraw in the studio.
You see the summary here. Elise Williams only 9 points. Struggled. They did a great job on her.
Who else do you think, though, for Wake Forest? They need Elise Williams, right, to continue to produce, but who else can help Wake Forest win this next quarter?
Well, they've got to go to Coles. I mean, she had 13 points, 5 rebounds against Syracuse and has no shot attempts here in the second half. So you've got to get both of those, Elise Williams and Coles, established here in the second half.
Third quarter underway now from the Young Center in Louisville, Kentucky. And you are watching the only remaining team now unbeaten in conference play. The Louisville Cardinals could go top of the ACC standings if they keep that 0 in the loss column after Virginia Tech suffered their first ACC loss down in Tallahassee.
We talked about Louisville being sort of an under the radar team, but I feel like not enough people are talking about Florida State as well.
It may be true.
I mean, both teams are doing really well, but it's very quiet. Not a whole lot of chatter about either of them in the ACC.
I think that's about to change for Florida State in particular. And Louisville, thus far, their 3 ACC wins have come at Miami, home against Duke, and then at Pitt. So really the heart of their difficult ACC schedule, I think most would say, on the way. They've got a road trip coming up. They'll go to Clemson and North Carolina next week.
Well, we talked with Coach Pineda earlier today, and she mentioned to me that they just want to focus on 3 games at a time. You know, do what you got to do. Try to have bite-sized approach to this season and not get overwhelmed. And that's worked for them so far.
Kiki Jefferson going to the free throw line. You mentioned Janisha Pineda, one of the assistant coaches, associate coach under Jeff Walls. And we were talking to her about how they have handled this mix of all the different players like Kiki Jefferson, one of 6 transfers on this Louisville team who are really making up the bulk of who this team is now this season.
Well, they had an opportunity to play in Canada earlier in the summer and won that tournament, and then had a really nice trip. I want to be on the staff. Went to Canada, then they went to the Virgin Islands and did, a clinic there. So they've had a lot of off-the-court bonding that I think has really helped them gel early, especially with this many new players. That doesn't happen very often. Normally, you know, you'll do, your chemistry will come on the defensive end first, and it takes a little bit longer for the offense, but they've been able to do both this year.
5 on the shot clock. Here is Coles, who you mentioned. She passes it off to Conley. Foul against Louisville. Looks like Nyla Harris, the guilty party. That is her 3rd personal. She had 8 points in the first half.
It looks like both of them were kind of engaged there. You see Kiki Jefferson walking off, a little gimpy there. Hope she's okay.
Yeah, she is making her way all the way to the end of the Louisville bench and maybe off to get some treatment. We'll keep an eye on that. Leading scorer on the season for the Cardinals, Jefferson. Conley will try again for the 3, and this one's good.
And that was a smart play by Williams. Instead of going all the way and drawing the foul, getting the ball out, getting the opportunity for a 3-point shot there. Wake Forest in that first half, they were 3 for 12 from 3-point line, so good to see them hitting that shot.
And the answer back coming from Sydney Taylor. Grad transfer from UMass. Harrison. Such an important piece of making this Wake offense go, Kaya Harrison. Scruggs 2 in her own way.
Yeah, Coles had Cochran pinned and they missed her.
Yeah, it's not always about who you go to, but when, right? And so important as those posts are working for positioning.
And they don't like it when you don't give them the pass because they work really hard. It's not easy in there.
And you see Kiki Jefferson down at the end of the bench. It's like having that right knee looked at the moment. That's another triple for Conley. That's 2 in this quarter.
That was one of the things that Coach Jebbia was hoping that they would get going today, to have an opportunity to compete against Louisville.
Well, in their last game, which was a loss against Syracuse at home, Wake Forest knocked down 8 3-pointers, shot 38% from downtown. Both of those numbers tying for their 2nd best marks on the season. Coles make a couple of moves and gets the basket.
Yeah, just doing a good job. They're probably countered when she didn't need to, but they're making a concerted effort to get her the basketball.
And how about that? You get outside shots to fall, maybe a little more space opens up inside.
Absolutely. You see the 3-point shot there by Raegyn Conley, and then that definitely opens up the opportunity. They've got to go out and they've got to play that, and they cannot help, and so you see opportunity here with Coles working that pivot foot.
And she missed all of last season with injury, redshirt sophomore for the Demon Deacons. Cochran looking to pass it off. Good catch and finish from Harris.
And when Harris and Cochran are in together, they do like to do that high-low action, and they're very efficient at it.
Well, so far this quarter, that's really all you can look at if you're Wake Forest. Demon Deacons going toe-to-toe with the Cards. See Harris down on the floor, and it's going to be a foul against Wake Forest. That's Scruggs, and it's her 3rd.
Yeah, they've been going at it this quarter. Yeah.
That's maybe a bit of a tough one.
I'm not going to comment on that one. I'm not the official. So.
Scruggs trying to establish
trying to
her
make
position.
Something happen. Yeah. Oh,
Cochran.
nice spin move.
Steps there from Taylor. But yeah, I like that. The pace on the spin from Cochran was what was impressive, thought.
Into the game for the Cardinals, number 30,
I know that this Louisville team has had such a streak of success. 5 straight Elite Eights that this team has gone to. They're the only team in the country that can make that claim.
We have to give Jeff Walz credit. We were talking about what a great staff he's had, and He mentioned a stat that I thought was very interesting. He said, none of my assistants have left this program to go be assistants elsewhere. They've left to become head coaches, but not assistants. And I thought that was a pretty important point.
Yeah, pretty telling, I think. Cochran fading away. Russell into the game, grabs the offensive rebound. Now Ricards. Jayda Curry with her left. Is it Elise Williams time for Wake Forest? Needs the basketball to come with her to make things happen. Got a little behind her with the dribble.
Yeah, they need to find ways to free her, either screen on the ball or set some back screens. The problem is when she gets rid of the ball, she rarely gets it back, so they've got to figure that one out.
Scruggs, remember, playing with 3 fouls. What a wraparound pass. Cochran can't get the 2 initially, but she'll get some free throws.
Foul on Wake Forest, number 11, Raegyn Conley is her second.
Louisville Cardinals will be shooting free throws when we come back. Up 53-35 on the Deeps.
You can't just take anybody. It's got to be a good fit. It's got to, it's got to plug a need for your program. And there is an art, I think, now to work in the transfer portal.
No doubt. You can't ignore it. You can't hope it'll go away. You do have to figure out how to work it. Cochran on the free throw line, a point away from double digits. And she gets the free throw to go. 10 in the game now for Cochran.
So Love, one of the better defenders for Louisville. Long limbs, can guard more than one position. And
Elise Williams taking advantage and being aggressive offensively.
Her first point since halftime. 11 in the game for Williams, leading scorer on the season for Wake Forest.
Wake Forest switching to a zone there, and Cochran just taking advantage.
I tell you, I have been so impressed watching her in person this season. As a player we've seen play in the ACC for Louisville over the last 4 years, the changes that she has made in her game and her fitness and her body, all of it, you can really tell how it's helping her on the floor.
and she can score in a variety of ways now, as opposed to when she first got to Louisville.
Well, Scruggs just staying with it. 6 points now for Scruggs and the Demon Deacons.
That's only 4 offensive rebounds that Wake Forest has had. They, for the most part, only had 1 opportunity.
But since halftime, Wake Forest really going back and forth in this quarter. With Louisville. Russell's having a good game. She has 10.
Yeah, she's been very aggressive here offensively.
Harrison crosses over, gets into the paint, has to go up and over Cochran. Scruggs, the acrobatic follow. She can make those, just didn't on that attempt. Russell, oh, she knew where she wanted to go. Good defense here by Wake Forest, and it results in a turnover travel by Harris.
Yeah, a little bit stagnant offense there by Louisville. Not as much movement as you normally see from them. Well, Louisville's up, obviously, by 20 points, but you still have to work on those little small things that are going to be really important later as you progress in the ACC, because you're not going to have an easy opponent, you know, for the rest of the season. So everything matters, everything counts.
That's another offensive rebound for Wake Forest. They've been few and far between up until these last couple possessions. They'll stay with Wake under the basket. And we're wondering, keeping an eye on Kiki Jefferson, now over, like she was on the bike a moment ago, still is. Got that brace on the right knee. Came off a couple of games ago some issues in that knee, so certainly hope she'll be all right going forward. She's been a big piece this season after transferring from James Madison.
So if you're Wake Forest, what are you trying to accomplish here on offense? What is it you're working on? What is it you're working towards? Are you trying to get the ball into Coles? Are you trying to free Elise Williams? What is the purpose of what you're doing at half court?
It looked like those two things were top priority, at least the way the quarter had gone so far. They did get Coles her first points, and that's a good look inside Scruggs.
She is constantly moving on offense.
Cochran. Love is fouled. That's going to be 4 if it's Scruggs. I think it is. There were 2 Wake Forest players there.
Well, Alexandria Scruggs is in constant movement for Wake Forest, never standing still, and you have to pay attention and know where she is. And I will say that when she fouls you, she makes you feel it. So you're gonna earn that. You're gonna earn those free throws.
But unfortunately for Scruggs and Wake Forest, that is her 4th, so she will head to the bench. Megan Jevia talking to her earlier this season, and one of the many things that Scruggs does for this team, she's their best screener. She really makes the offense flow.
Yeah, there's a lot of things she does that's not on the stat sheet.
Love got those 2 points the hard way, didn't she? Williams, looks like she was looking for a screen. Now she'll just take it to the top, reset.
Well, she's trying to go one-on-one, but got to make the defense move, change sides of the floor so you have better angles to do that.
.20 lead for Louisville. Conley rims it out. Russell stopped in her tracks by Williams. Now she goes, and Williams comes down with the rebound. Back it goes to Louisville, and one coming for Curry.
Just great anticipation there, just what Coach Walsh wants, to stay active even after you miss the shot. Wake Forest has it, think they're having the outlet, and Curry just doing a nice job of staying active. Getting the opportunity for the N1.
Third personal foul on Elise Williams on the play. And you can see the frustration. There's so much of Wake Forest success rides on her shoulders, and how she handles that is really going to be paramount to how they do the rest of the season. About a 2-second difference, shot clock, game clock here at the end of the third quarter. Louisville has outscored Wake Forest by just by 3 points this quarter. It's the second quarter that really blew this game open for the Cardinals, 26-8, and now they take it away. Curry Who needs time? Okay.
2 steals and 2 scores. Well, Curry deciding that there are 2 ways that I could get a 3-point play. One is to steal here, and one was the other one. So make it up for it.
One of the reasons I love the 4-quarter system in women's basketball, you get 4 chances for some buzzer beaters. And quarter 1, we delivered. Katie Diebel bank it in the 3, and then how about this to end quarter number 3, Jayda Curry, just like she planned it.
And a great reaction from the crowd as well.
Yeah, do you hear it in here? It is a tremendous atmosphere. It always is when you come here to Louisville. Those are your 2 buzzer beaters in the game so far. What more magic moments might we have in store before this one is over, as Louisville looks to remain the ACC's only unbeaten team in conference play?
If you're both teams here, it's the 4th quarter. You still want to work on the small things, but for different reasons. If you're Wake Forest, you just want to improve, get a little bit more discipline. And if you're Louisville, you want to sharpen up to get ready for your next game.
Yeah, tough road trip coming for the Cardinals. They get a block to start the quarter, give it right back, and Conley stayed in the good spot on the floor, has her first 2-point basket of the game.
Bulolu, they like her. They think she's got a lot of potential.
Which means we're just going to all have to practice saying her name. There's no getting around it. We've got to get it right.
You noticed in the first half, I didn't really say her name.
You see, Helen, now you got to step up your game.
I got to
She's
step
stepping
up my game.
3-pointer, good! Alyssa Andrews hits the triple for the Deeks.
Nice job at Wake there, those last 2 possessions down the floor. That's definitely a mismatch.
I mean, I'm thinking if you're Curry, you gotta feel like the world is your oyster. You made that last shot to end the 3rd quarter. Ball comes to you, go for it. If it's the right shot within the offense, of course.
As the coach, I was getting ready to say that.
I could see you giving me that look. Harrison. Good take.
So Wake, 3 possessions, 3 scores.
Got to get back on defense, though. Russell will certainly tell you she should have had those 2. And then Bulolu took some contact to the face earlier in this game. And once again, comes down holding her nose. 6'3" freshman out of Istanbul, Turkey. Has had some international experience playing with Turkey's U18 and U20 teams.
No incidental contact there.
Foul on Madison Jordan, her 2nd personal first team foul of the quarter for Wake Forest.
Gotta give Wake Forest credit. They're still playing hard. They're not giving up.
Russell tries to follow her own shot. Both teams pleading their case, but the referees opting to go the way of the Demon Deacons.
Good work with the teammates there, with the officials, even though the crowd didn't like it.
Jordan, really good 3-point shot for Madison Jordan, the freshman out of Morrisville, North Carolina.
She's got a lot of potential too. She's going to be able to score in bunches.
Good drive, and the finish from Curry. There it is.
I think Curry is asking for some more playing time with the minutes she put in today.
Another 3-pointer. That's a good way to make up some points if you're Wake Forest, and they get it back.
That's people's second steal.
Riley Turcoff wasn't good, but the follow-up was.
That's a heat check. And
or not.
It was a heat check, but it went in. Feeling good.
Told you, she's feeling it. And Wake Forest really going to the 3-point shot a lot in this quarter. Wake Forest basketball. Foul against Louisville. And this gives us our first chance to say Henny Van Schaik's name, junior transfer from Cal State Bakersfield. She was whistled for the foul. Getting some time here in the fourth quarter. Jordan. Diebel on the drive, and good to see Jefferson back out there, by the way. Kiki Jefferson, saw her go off. Seemed to have some tenderness in the knee that was being treated on the sideline. Curry passes it off this time. Give her an assist.
Well, this has been Curry's 5 minutes. This fourth quarter started at the end of that third quarter. She is rolling.
And I believe that is the 10th player to have scored for Louisville in this game, as Mobley got the 2. Didn't step to the pass, Mobley, and that allowed Harrison to come in and get the 2 in transition for Wake Forest. And Demon Deacons called the timeout. A lot of fun, too, and boy, do they come out to support this team. And why not? They get to see a lot of wins. You look at the comparison, and we go back to the 21-22 season, because that was the last time Louisville was unbeaten at home, as they are at the moment. And they happened to go to the Final Four that year.
So I'm sure they hope it projects out just like that this year.
Can the Cardinals beat you with balance rather than one superstar, as has been their calling card throughout so many of the past years and these great teams under Jeff Walz?
Well, and you see he's played with a lot of different lineups here today to try to give some people some time, but you know, they don't need for one person to do it all. They're all very versatile on both ends of the floor, and it's worked out well for them this year.
Shot clock was winding down. Offensive rebound pulled down by Mobley, keeping the possession alive and getting 2 more points from Jefferson.
Wake Forest put together a pretty good first 5 minutes. I mean, they were 6 for 11 from the field for 54%. Hit a couple of nice 3-pointers, got some steals.
Get some offensive rebounds.
Yeah, just something to build on.
Foul called on the floor against the Cardinals. And that's going to go against Sydney Taylor. About 4.5 left to play in this one. Louisville up big, unbeaten at home.
Atlanta.
Well,
this morning when we had shoot run, oh my gosh,
yeah,
that was
cold.
like, you asked to give me a ride. I'm like, great, I just have to hop in the car. I don't have to be out in the cold.
I take care of you. Heated seats. And it's nice and cozy inside, too. 6 on the shot clock for Wake Forest. Diebel going to the basket, somehow leans it in.
And Wake Forest 6 for 11 here in the fourth quarter.
And they're winning the quarter, aren't they? And there's been a couple of these moments where Louisville has turned it over, and that is not going to make Jeff Walz happy.
Well, that's 4 steals for Diebel.
Pull up from Taylor using the glass. She's got 11. Third Cardinal in double digits now, joining Russell, Jefferson. Oh no, I need to add a lot more. Curry and Cochran. I missed those 2 down at the bottom. Very balanced effort for Louisville today. And Wake answers right back.
Yeah, this is what Coach Gebbia wants from them in the first and the third quarter. That's where they have issues during the season, is those 2 quarters. And if they could just get that consistency and this type of play every quarter, that would be good for them.
Ricards from Mobley. Ricards around 2 Demon Deacons, had the rebound in her hands. It will stay here with Louisville. Give you a look at next Saturday's basketball tripleheader on the men's side. Number 21 Clemson squaring off against Florida State at 4. Then Virginia taking on Georgia Tech. And finally, Kyle Filipowski and number 11 Duke hosting Pitt at Cameron Indoor. Should be a great afternoon and great evening of hoops on ACC Network.
I love this time of the year. nothing but basketball. A little bit of pro
there is
football
still
sprinkled
some football,
in, but
yes.
yeah, a lot going on this time of the year.
Team second. Line for the Cardinals, number 15, Nina Ricards will shoot 2.
Ricard's going to the free throw line.
I like her game. She's not talked about as much as the rest of the Louisville guards, but a great rebounder, works hard. Doing a good job playing point guard, really essentially for the first time in her career.
But a challenge she wanted to accept, grad transfer from Florida. Expanding her game, hopefully expanding her prospects.
Nice pass.
And Louisville thought they had it covered, but a little too much contacts coming in on Madison Jordan.
Just a little bit of late on the help there.
Jordan spinning into contact, foul called. That is on Mobley.
At the line for Wake Forest, number 22, Madison Jordan shoots 2.
Madison Jordan, a couple of free throws coming up, has all 5 of her points in this fourth quarter. And coming up next, more women's hoops coming your way. Virginia at number 20, North Carolina. Alyssa Usby, those 5 triple-doubles in her career. Had one earlier this season. See what she has in store. Istanbulova. Oh, she can do that too. Okay.
Well, she does it in practice all the time. It's very rare. I think that's only the second three-pointer that she's taken this year. But I watched her in practice yesterday, and she was draining threes.
Yeah, she was 1 for 12 from 3 prior to that one going in. Let's take another look, shall we?
All right, she's got a nice stroke for her size. You know, those European post players are all able to shoot past the three-point line.
I had a feeling Mom and Dad had her working on that shot from a very young age, both pro players in Turkey.
And no choice in that family but to play basketball.
7 on the shot clock. Turkoff. Got to get a shot. They won't be able to. I mean, this fourth quarter, despite that possession, has been the best quarter for Wake Forest on both ends of the floor, wouldn't you say, in this game?
On both ends of the floor, and they've done it without Coles and without Elise Williams. So
that's
obviously
true.
You want those two to be involved, but it's a good sign for Coach Jayda that they're, playing this well
and
as a group.
Scruggs had to go to the bench with foul trouble toward the end of the third quarter.
Yeah, both these coaches here in the fourth quarter just trying to play some different lineups to get a look at, different combinations to see what they want to do as the year progresses in the ACC. See who they want to give more time to.
Just over a minute to go in this one. Wake Forest will continue their road trip for their next game, go to Boston College. Eagles getting a win earlier today against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Pitt gave them a game. They were right there at the end.
And that is why we say there are no easy games in the ACC. Final minute, and to update you on my inaccurate double-figure scoring for Louisville earlier, there are 6 players in double figures for the Cards. It's a little topsy-turvy out there at the moment. How will the Cards finish off the possession? They'll come up empty. Wake Forest has outscored Louisville 21-17 in this quarter. And yes, the game has been a sizable advantage on the scoreboard for Louisville throughout that time. But I think you still, if you're Wake Forest, have something to build off of.
Oh, absolutely. Very positive things you can point to on the film clips to know that you have that ability.
But the Louisville Cardinals move to 4-0 in ACC play. They are currently the only ACC women's basketball